Welcome to my daily review. Today is Tuesday, February 11th. You're looking at a daily chart of the Nasdaq, which was down 70 points or 0.36%, closed at 19,643 today, with 21% above the average 50-day volume. But it was lighter than yesterday's volume, where we got most of that Friday algo selling back. But you could see if you just take a look at the index here, how tight the moving averages have become here. These three have converged, the 10, the 21, and the 50, which just indicates, tight trading. Something's got to give here. We're coming into like an inflection point here. As you can see, look at this narrowing in here. This is really narrowing in. Actually, if you wanted to take this here, looks like a real pinch here, and something's going to pop one way or the other. And I keep mentioning that the Nasdaq is the weaker index right now, currently, and I don't say that just because I don't like the Nasdaq. I do. I do my best trading when the Nasdaq is the leading index, but right now it's not. It made this high here on December 16th to 20,204, then, corrected 7%, then rallied back up, but it could not make a new high here on January 24th at 20,118. Did not trade higher than the old high. And then, since then it's given it back here and it's kind of got into this trading range of just, up a day, down a day, and just a choppy mess, a teeter-totter around the moving averages, if you will. And if you compare that with the S&P, there's a divergence here, whereas the S&P made a high of 6,099 on December 6th, and it corrected also and then rallied back up. And this one did make a new high on January 24th of 6,128. So where the Nasdaq could not make a new high, the S&P did make a new high, and the S&P is above its 50 simple moving average there, 1.1% above it and 0.6% above the 21, where the Nasdaq is right at its 50, right at its 21, and close right at its 10. All three of those moving averages are within 1/10 of each other. So something's got to give here. And so that's why I say that the SPY is the stronger index right now, because this one is on its 50 and the S&P is 1.1% above its 50. And this one could not make a new high, where the SPY did make a new high. So I'm not showing my bias there. I'm just kind of telling it like it is, as Howard Cosell would say. It's just the way it is. I really wish the Nasdaq would break out and make new highs and be the leading index, but right now it's not. But anyway, I digress. I just want to talk about stocks, and I make money on stocks. I trade stocks. I rarely, if ever, trade, indexes or exchange traded funds. And anyway, the Nasdaq, and the Dow and the S&P got a little bit of a boost from Apple today, up 2% on the news with Bob received an upgrade in Apple. So when Apple's, up 2%, that kind of really helps out the indexes. But on the flip side, Tesla, which is not in the Dow, this thing's really sliding here, down 6% today. I thought it would get support, but it is not. So a lot of sellers in Tesla. That's all you can say here. And I guess since I'm going through some of these, Nvidia has rallied back up. And I know people get excited. It traded down on the whack day from Deep Six or Deep Seek on that Monday, where it was down 16%. Rare to see Nvidia down 16%. But it traded down to 113 there on February 3, 8 days ago, and now it rallied up to its 50 yesterday and got a little bit of a rejection today. So we'll see if it can rally through there tomorrow or in the next couple of sessions, or if it's going to get the Motambo treatment and head back down to the 200. I have my own personal opinions, but I'm not gonna predict or project them right now. I just think that we just wait and see with Powell on Capitol Hill, with that charade with the members of Congress, and some inflation data coming in. Market's still a little cautious, so we'll just wait and see. How about that? Anyway, no, seriously, I think Nvidia is going to rip right through its 50. But I'm always bullish, so you got to always consider that. I'm always thinking that the positive thing's going to happen and not really looking at the negatives. All right, I've got to go through. It's earnings season, so I love earnings season because I think this is what drives stocks higher. Is that growth numbers? You know, short term, not really, but longer term for sure. They need earnings and sales growth. And this is Lattice, which was kind of beaten up under the 200. It was up more than 7% today. Do not like that close, though, 12% closing range. But still, I mean, if you're in this stock and you've been kind of wallowing along for a long time here, 7.6% move is like an oasis in the middle of the desert here. A nice move for Lattice. I got to get to ALAB because ALAB interesting stock here. It had a big run since the IPO. It was priced for perfection. And it gave us perfection with this earnings report, triple digit everything, margins going crazy. The CEO was really ebullient on the conference call. It didn't matter because what really matters here, I guess, is it's a little price for perfection, as I say. You can see the market cap near 15 billion with what, 600 million in sales. So really pricey stock. It had this whack day on the deep seek day when it was down 28%. And this is a vertical violation of the 50. And usually when this happens, it takes a long time for a stock to recover. And that's going to be the case here, it looks like, with ALAB, as it got rejected here at its moving average last week and followed through to the downside today, nearly 11%. But it's not always, I know people want absolutes in the market, and the market doesn't work that way. There are no absolutes. There are no absolute guarantees. So yeah, we could see this break, and we could see it in a lot of other stocks. Vert's reporting tomorrow. It had this vertical break, and it's right there at the 50. It might get rejected tomorrow or might rally through. But we saw it with VST and GE Vernova, this one, and it just cannot rally back through new highs. So you think, oh my gosh, these things are all shorts. Well, maybe not, because CLS, Celestica, had that big break on the deep six day where, most of these stocks got deep six down 28%, undercut the 50, but it rallied right back through to make new highs immediately. And that's what they have to do. Immediately recover, or else it's going to take a long time to form a base. So there's a lot of these stocks. I'm not going to go through all of them. I just wanted to point out that ALAB had a nice report, really strong report. Probably just needs some time to form a base here below 100. Not the end of the world. It just got a little bit ahead of itself. Anyway, Shopify reported a strong report. Now it pulled back in the early morning action pre-market. It was really getting hammered down there by about 110 or 112, and then it reversed higher. And then you could see here during market hours, it did the old okey doke, right? Like the first right out of the gate, 125.79, and all the way down to, what did it come down to? 114. Wow. And then rallied all day long. Buyers stepped in. Yeah, some profit taking into the close. A lot of day traders out there with, ADD type of adrenaline type junkie traders. But to me, this is, if I look at this thing on a daily chart, I just say, okay, they reported earnings, so that risk event is behind me. It pulled back to its 21. It found support. It closed at 79% of its daily range. 125.95 is the high, but really that buy point of 120.72, that's an area of interest. And as it rips through that area, or just call it 121, to me, that's a buy. So yeah, I did buy Shopify today. I had it on my ready list this morning. I don't really like holding stocks in earnings. I'm going to get there in a little bit towards the end of this video. But sometimes I sell them prior to the earnings and I have to pay more to buy them back. That's just the way it goes. And Shopify is one that, I like the earnings growth and the sales growth. When you see this accelerating, 21, 26, 31 percent sales growth, that's the type of growth profile that I want to see in a growth stock. So anyway, I took a swing at this one around 121. So if it works out, great. If not, I'll just, sell it. But right now it's getting support at the 21. And so that would be my, line in the sand there which, if I don't want it to go down that low, but if undercuts that low of the day, it's adios muchachos. All right, ECL reported. This one, Ecolab, it just had a nice move, right? 6%. It was up a lot, early in the day, but, closed near the low of the session. You don't like that close if you're long, but, big move with volume. Let's take a look at this on a different time frame here. Yeah, it opened higher and then sold off into the close. So anyway, those are the earnings reports this morning. And today was kind of I don't know how to describe it. It was kind of a cautious day with Powell, on Capitol Hill for 2 days and CPI data coming in tomorrow and a lot of earnings reports this week. So investors were cautious. So I'm just going to go a little defensive with the market today. This is EQT at mcstockcharts.com. I post the, the digital currency data in the morning and the commodities. And when I see the natural gas and the gas up as it was this morning a lot, these stocks usually do well, and today was no difference. And gold, silver, and copper were down, but oil and gas and natural gas were up. So this is a kind of a natural gas play. Chevron, up off the lows here, making some noise here. I think they go ex-divvy sometime this week. So that one was showing strength. And Devon, now granted, these ones are beaten down a lot, but trying to come off the lows here, come off the deck. So just 2.5% move in this week tape today was yeah, kind of, yeah, it was hard to find stuff that was strong, really. GE, the defense names I mentioned, it was a defensive day, so you got to go to the defense names, oil and gas, defense, aerospace defense. And this is GE, which broke out. It gapped up after earnings, just pulled back, and now it's just surfing its 10 right here. This thing looks fantastic. Every time it pulls back to its 10, you can add to GE because it's trending. As a trend trader, that's what you want to see. And those stock charts have become kind of rare recently with the real super choppy market. OSIS. OSI Systems, this is a defense play as well. Nice move. Once again, like GE, minding the 10 EMA, just respecting it. Every time it comes back to the 10, it's finding support since that gap day and then moving higher. So OSIS looks fine as well. And then, of course, Rocket Lab. You can't go too far in space without Rocket Lab. Just an inside day today. What was one of those other ones here that was Lunar and is an aerospace defense? Wow, this thing's falling off here. One of my friends owned this one. She's always bragging about it, man. She was quiet today. It was down 9%. Sorry about that. But it's probably going to get support here at the 50. Yeah, lighter volume pullback to 50, not the end of the world there. All right. I'm going to move on to the got to go to the retail names because I mentioned yesterday how much retail was getting beat up. The fragrances, the shoes. But I'm going to show you some strength here. This is Dillard's. Dillard's reports on the 25th, and this one made a new high today. So just recognizing strength here. This one's right at that 500 level. Will that 500 number act as resistance? We're just going to have to wait and see to find out, right? Like I say, they report on February 25th. And then another retail name, I had it on my ready list last week. I don't think I have it this week. I have it here on my watch list. I might have put it on. Yeah, maybe I did. Anyway, you can see this cup-shaped pattern pull back to the moving average and now, gapping higher on this date. Let me get the track price here. Yeah, a nice gap and then pull back to the moving average, then showing strength, 5% move, 2%. Gets a little extended from the 10, then pulls back immediately. And then today popped 3.5%. So another retail internet name doing well. Let me see. So what other retail stocks do we have that I'm looking at? Oh, my dad always told me if the pawn shops are doing well, look out. Yeah, that's not a good sign. And this is Easy Corp, which is a pawn shop, and this thing's breaking out, man. EZPW was a stock that I traded way back in the day. I want to talk about, here you go. Yeah, early 2000s when the Nasdaq was .com crashing. This is one of my go-to stocks here. And you can see between 2000 and 2005, this thing had a hell of a run. I have not followed this thing in many, many moons, but a breakout here. That's not a good sign overall. You know, when the miners, commodities, pawn shops are ripping higher, that you better be on the lookout here. Those are signs and not good ones. Cocoa water, you got it. Hydrate with your cocoa water, right? Made another new high today. And it was flat on the session, but made a new high and closed, 2/3 of the daily range. Just trying to point to some strength there in the retail space. Somebody asked me to look at BURL. Oh wow, that looks like a lot of I don't know, 6-week flat base pattern. Then it fell out. Well, it doesn't report earnings till the 27th, so I don't know if there was news there or what. Down to the 200, so maybe he wants to take a swing at it down there. Undercut the prior base there, so start a new base count for BURL. Yeah, below the 200. That looks nasty. What's BURL low there? 246. Yeah, okay. All right. Didn't quite undercut the low of the 242. Anyway, got it. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, retail has been kind of a tough spot. All right. I'm going to go to some stocks that I own, some stocks that I like. This is CrowdStrike. It doesn't have earnings for a while, till a month from today, March 11th. So this thing made a new high today. It's been making new highs. When you look at essential items as during AI, the cybersecurity crowd is one area that is essential for security. Palo Alto Networks reports tomorrow, I believe, no, the 13th. So that's Thursday. This thing's set up with a cup with handle pattern. And then Fortinet reported last week and had a nice move higher, made a new high yesterday and pulled back, had an inside day today, but that thing looks fine as well, just allowing the moving averages to catch up, finding support at the 10. So these cyber security stocks look pretty darn good to me. This is a CYBR, a Kelly Slater stock, just surfing the 10 there. So a lot of strength in those that software groups, and there's other software names. Software as a service group performing well. I'm going to get to that after hours today. I'm kind of liking what I'm seeing. This is Team gapped higher after earnings, holding its gains, allowing the moving averages to catch up. Nothing wrong with Team. That one looks fantastic. I was going to go to GLBE. That one looks fantastic as well, making new highs. Twilio reports this week. So software is a place to be. Oh, wow, pull back to the 10. That is an area of interest, but they report Thursday, so you got to be careful here. Palantir finally gives some back today a little bit, made a new high. Close at 8% of the daily range, down $3. Big deal. This thing's up a gazillion percent in the last year. So anyway, Palantir, it needs to give some back and allow these moving averages to catch up. Software has been an area of strength. I'm not going to go through all of them. I mean, Monday reported on Monday, just had an inside day today. That was a hell of a move. So that one looks good as well. APPS, some of my friends are into this buy this one. It's not really my style, but it doesn't look too bad here. As it gapped higher on this one day last week and made a new high today at $5.71. Anyway, I'm going to get out of this space. I'm going to go to the drugs. I need some drugs after today. AXSM, I believe this is perceived now as a buyout target, a real strong buyout target here, up 4% today, followed up on yesterday's big move higher on the news with Teva Pharmaceuticals up 20%. So AXSM looks really good. TGTX is one that I show every day, but this thing it's pulling back in like minuscule volume, but there are no buyers. There's a lot of short sellers in this one. And as long as there's no buyers, the shorts are going to control this one. Now it closed below its 50, and it does this. If you look and see, since the last time that it broke out of its base here, yeah, it pulled back to the 50 and then rallied up, right? Pulled back to the 50, then rallied up. Now it's pulled back to the 50, got rejected there at the 50, but eventually rallied through. And now here we are again below the 50. So, it might be a few sessions or a week or so or 2 weeks. They're going to report earnings and it's probably going to rally back through that 50. It's just, it's a matter of pain tolerance, time. There's a lot of other stocks you can buy than wait around for these guys to report earnings. Anyway, that's it for the drugs. Somebody asked me to look at the food stocks. Pilgrims, Pride, yeah, setting up in a base here. I think I mentioned this last week. It broke above its downtrend line. This thing looks good. What's the other one? Sprouts Farmers Market. Yeah, this one looks good too. Moved higher, cut pattern without a handle, now pulling back to the 10, reports on the 20th. So next week, something to look forward to. And then, of course, you can't talk about food without Costco, and that one looks super strong, and Walmart as well. Those two are doing well. So food is in. All right. Somebody asked me to look at a couple of um, robotics. Robotics is supposed to take over the world. They're going to employ a lot of robotics, so got to look at robotics. I'm not talking about the iRobot, the thing that cleans your floors. This is Symbotic. It doesn't look too good. How about Serve? They had a deal with I believe it was NVIDIA. Yeah, that looks pretty good. AI powered robotics, and then of course you could just buy the exchange traded fund, which I don't like doing, but that looks better than most. They're consolidating within a base, undercut the 50 rally back above. Yeah. Global X Robotics, exchange traded funds. All right. That's it for me. Thank you for watching. Cutting it short today. Not a lot going on with Powell speaking and, inflation data up ahead this week. A lot of earnings reports, so caution is warranted. But I do want to point out that at mcstockcharts.com, we never give up. In honor of the great Steve Jobs, I do have one more thing. SMCI reported now yesterday, it looks like they leaked the data because the thing really rallied a lot. And then today they reported and it didn't look that great, right? And it sold off originally after the numbers came out. They kind of lowered guidance. Yeah, it was up 18% yesterday, pulled back nearly 10% during the session, but after hours, it's getting all that back after they reported tonight. So I did not look at the numbers other than, it appeared to say, lowered forward guidance, which usually isn't good, but we'll have to wait and see in the morning. I'll have more information on this. Obviously, this is an AI play, data center, so it's going to be important for that cohort for tomorrow. And a 10% move looks pretty good. Upstart, not to be outdone, up 23% after hours, around $83 there. They reported, and I guess somebody likes it. Yeah, it's up 23%. So yeah, somebody likes it at $83. The one I was watching, the one I had to sell prior to the earnings report, 'cause I don't feel comfortable. At my age, I don't want to take on the risk, so I just let them, announce their earnings. It seemed fine, so I bought it back. I bought back a little more than what I had prior. That's just my style because the data was good and it's being rewarded. And I was able to get it under 200. Now it's over 200, but no big deal. If you followed me at all, you know how much I love this chart, and I think this is going to be a major monster winner. I like their business model for today's economy, and I just like the chart. And yeah, I'm a chicken into earnings because I don't want to get my head handed to me, as we've seen with some stocks. I didn't mention this one here, FLNC. Yeah, you can't even see this thing. It was down so much, 46%. Yeah, so I don't want to get my head handed to me like that. So ahead of earnings, I just take my risk off and I could buy it back afterwards. Yeah, I pay more for it, but I consider that like insurance, I have insurance too. I don't want to ever use it, but I have it and I pay for it. So that's just the way I play it. Some people like to go, they want to ape in prior to earnings, and that's the way to make big money. If you have that kind of courage, more power to you. I don't, so I just play it differently. That's all. Lyft reported after hours and it's getting shelled down 9%. That might impact Uber. Probably not, though. We'll see. Fresh is another one that I had on my bingo chart for after hours. Yeah, it's up 10%. Another one of these software names. these SAS, software as a service stocks are doing well. And I kind of figured that it would. A couple of reasons. It had pulled back, prior to its earnings report and, kind of not making new highs into earnings. And these stocks have been doing well, as I just showed you a bunch of them. Oh, I know what I wanted to show you as far as DoorDash. So today it pulled back to its 10, before this pop after hours of 6%. And it's very similar to what Spot did. Spot was making new highs and pulled back to the 10 prior to its earnings report. And then when the earnings report came in, it gapped higher and was up, what, 13% on February 4, so a week ago. And Dash, very similar, how it just pulled back to the 10 prior to earnings, and now it gets a good report and it's up, I guess, 6% after hours. We'll see how it trades tomorrow. Like I said, there's still a lot of caution out there. Gilead reported this afternoon, up 4%. See if it could trade through that 100 level. That's a nice cup with handle there. That's textbook. Uh, that's a textbook pattern here. This looks nice. Got this little, cup shape and then sell off, pull back to the 21, shaking some fools out here as we see this accelerated selling. Guys like me saying, I don't want to hold into earnings. And then, pop, nice 4% pop today. So we'll see if Gilead could get over the 100 mark. I'll have more on this tomorrow, as I did not read their report at all, but it looks like it's having a positive response to the data. This is Welltower, and no movement here. And the last one is QSR, which is the parent company of Burger King. Oh, they report tomorrow. What am I doing? Burger King and Tim Horton. I'll get to that in a minute. There's the CFLT. That's the one I wanted to get to. Confluent, another one of these, consumer, computer software database stocks, cloud stocks up 13% after hours. So these cloud, software as a service stocks are continuing to show strength here. So that is definitely a theme, and up 13%. Thank you very much. We'll take it. And I just wanted to point out tomorrow morning we have more earnings. This is Vertiv. I'm very interested in this one because it had that vertical violation now traded up to the 50, and it's make or break time inflection point tomorrow. Either it's going to rally up or it's going to, it's going to trade down near that 200. Hopefully it rallies higher. I'm pulling for that stock. Very well run company. I'd be surprised if they didn't have a nice report. Generac reports in the morning. BIIB Biogen reports in the morning. So looking forward to that. CVS, they report in the morning. You can see that rejection at the 200 recently. RDWR. Radware reports in the morning, and as I said prior, QSR reports. Burger King, Tim Horton, you guys been out dining. This thing has had some buyers here into the report tomorrow. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up. Good job, DoorDash.